Ho 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 there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boisterous coming to you with some Masters League Magnificence out of the map Newkirk City. This is, of course, a Heart of the Swarm game, as this map is only available in the Heart of the Swarm beta. So, we're going to see a lot of fanciness going on in this game, and I'm quite excited. Anyway, spying down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have Fencar as the purple Terran, and over here in the bottom left-hand corner, we do have Snow as the green Zerg. Snow, of course, bitching about the map, and that's because it's kind of an awkward map for Zergs. The third is reasonably hard to take and hold. The fourth base is very prone to drop harass because it's kind of hard to get units there. There's definitely a lot of awkwardness in this map. I guess if you take this third, you can kind of hold it. It's still a little bit weird because it's easy to get sieged from up here or even dropped from up here. And then I think that at least my preferable fourth is probably this one as far as Zergs go. Because it's kind of easy to extend your creep tumors up along this road and then out from this position. And once you get creep in all those areas, it's pretty simple. Looks like they're just discussing map choices currently, as Fencar does drop a fast barracks at the front. Now, of course, he put his supply depot near his SCV line, so his SCVs didn't need to lose a lot of mining time running out to drop the supply depot and then running back in. Which is a little bit weird, because usually people won't even drop the barracks at the front if they're going to go like that. However, he might be going for a slight wall off here. You never know. We'll see in a second. I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm just not going to even recognize it as a conversation. Because that's usually what I do. I usually recognize it as a conversation, and then I confuse everybody that watches the video and can't see the actual chat because they aren't on full screen at 1080p. And I think that bothers people sometimes. It looks like we do have the hatchery going down at the natural for Snow, and the drone is just going to be slowly patrolling at the natural of Fencar to just bother him a little bit. And it looks like the command center is being dropped right next to it, which is of course a good decision because he can just do it. What's the huge screw up? I don't know what the huge screw up is. Damn. Alright, well I missed it. But anyway, it looks like the drone is actually driven off and killed. And now, of course, Fencar is just going to finish up this command center and then lift and drop it there. Which is, it's a smart strategy to use as a Terran player because it means that your command center gets up slightly faster than it would have if you had to get a Marine out down the ramp and kill the drone with the Marine before you can drop it. Which is actually a reasonable strength for Terran players, being able to reposition your buildings like that, especially in a situation like that. I never actually thought about it like that. Building lift has always kind of just been an annoyance to me, where they pick up their buildings and fly them to corners of the map underneath Tectum, mutas, and corruptors, and then win the game that way. But, whatever. Well, okay. Yeah, these players, I'm pretty sure they're pretty clearly friends because, they are using a custom game to play this game out, so I think they're just, testing each other out and maybe practicing with each other. Snow is not way behind, I don't think. No, Snow's actually doing pretty okay. He dropped his spawning pool extremely late, which might be what he's discussing when he says that he effed up big, but really he's not actually doing that bad. He's not in the perfect spot for workers against a Terran player, but at the same time he's not going, he's not doing awfully. The queen production is a little bit on the wonky side of life. 4 queens is kind of a strategy that's only really used in Wings of Liberty because of the buffs to Hydras and other units. So I actually have not really seen a 4 queen game in quite a while as far as Heart of the Swarm goes. This is a bit of an archaic strategy. Usually you'll go 3 queens at most because that's really all you need for the creep tumors. However, I can definitely see how this would be a good strategy and how it would be useful. Maybe he's just, maybe he knows Fencar well enough where he can expect this sort of thing to be happening, maybe a fast air tech play. However, it looks like it's just going to be a reasonably fast factory, possibly reasonably fast tanks, or even a Hellion harass, which I guess it is actually reasonably nice to have the queens against. However, if the Widow Mines come out with the Hellions, then it's like, oh shit. Because the Hellions are probably just going to bait your queens into the Spider Mines if they're played correctly. And then it's like, oh, right. Spider Mines do a ton of damage and probably one-shot units. I think they're one-shot units, right? I think so. Oh wait, no, right, they completely changed Widow Mines. Man, I'm silly. I think they still do a lot of damage to queens, but they definitely don't one-shot them anymore. God, I was thinking about the old Widow Mines where they would just like latch on to anything, ground, air units, they didn't give a shit. And then they would just explode for 400 damage and completely one-shot everything that ever existed ever. And I forgot that that was the new Hellion ability. Or not Hellion, Raven. Alright, well, it looks like the Hellions are rolling out, and they actually did a pretty good job of upgrading the Hellion model into the Swarm. I kind of like it. You know, I mean, it's probably just because they have the Hellbat mode, so they need to make it kind of representative of the Hellion model, and you know, make it kind of have the kind of Transformers feel. And I just realized I said kind of like 7 times in that last sentence, which I think if I had a spoon here, I would smack myself with it, but I don't. So I'm just gonna have to not smack myself with a spoon for effing up that bad. Whoopsie daisies. All right. Well, it looks like we have the creep slowly starting to expand out for our green Zerg player. This is, of course, a very nice thing to do. It looks like he actually went for the third up here, which I guess actually probably is a better decision than the third down here. Probably should have thought about that one a bit more, because the third up here is definitely safer for all the reasons I said before. How many queens does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 queens. That's quite a few queens. Usually you just have one of your queens that were on creep tumor duty run up to your third base, and then, you know, or yeah, third base, and then you just have one queen on creep tumor duty from that point out, not having two creep tumor, not having 2 queens on creep tumor duty, and actually has 6. I can't count for my life. Man, I am a little bit scatterbrained right now. Sorry, I'm kind of focused on the entire Christmas thing and getting ready for tomorrow and all that stuff. But it looks like we do have Fencar moving out across the center of the map. This is a pretty strong move out. However, it is scouted extremely early, so we are going to see quite a build-up of Zerg units from our Zerg player. We have 40 Lings on the way. I think that was actually a batch of 42 total. 5 Banelings on the way. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more Banelings too. And maybe the queens consolidated to a primary base, because it looks like this entire Terran force is going to be moving out towards the natural, and it looks like, oh god, the surround, the Baneling's not doing nearly enough damage. That was pretty nasty, and it looks like the Zerglings are just suiciding into the Hellbats. He should have just waited for the Terrans to start moving up his ramp, so that they had the spine crawlers and the queens in front of him, and then maybe he could have pulled the queens from the third base and used them to help destroy this army. However, it looks like he will be able to hold this, because these are all reasonably low health units, and there's only one medevac to heal them up, and that medevac doesn't even have all that much health left. So we are going to see quite a few units going down to Banelings here. There goes the last Hellbat, which is going to make this extremely easy for Zerglings to clean up. Is the next evolution chamber? No, the next evolution chamber does not get sniped, so we are going to see ground armor level 1 finish up. I do believe that he did manage to stop ground weapons level 1, which is a pretty nice upgrade to stomp down, especially when you're playing against a primary Zergling player. And it looks like, oh my god, the wall off is not complete. He really should have finished that wall off, because this is going to be a little bit on the awkward side of life. Yeah, definitely a little bit on the awkward side of life. However, the Spider Mine is going to be doing a ton of damage. How much damage does this thing do? Oh, 125 damage to primary unit with 40 in an AoE. That is kind of crazy, because that means that basically it will one-shot one Zergling 100% of the time, and it'll kill any Zerglings around that Zergling, which is definitely a little bit on the scary side. It looks like the ground armor at level 1 has finished up, and ground weapons level 1 is now starting. I would not be surprised to see second evolution chamber perhaps dropped in a kind of safer spot up here, but it looks like he's just going to be dropping it down at the front yet again. A little bit on the interesting side. It looks like the third base from Fencar is now being dropped. He's actually going for 3 orbital commands. Yeah, I can see that. That works out quite well. Now this, of course, orbital command is in kind of an awkward position yet again, just because it's so open to attack. You can have people swing down from up here, you can have people swing down from up here, you have people drop and swing down from down here, or even Nidus Worm in, and then swing down from down here. And that's a little bit on the awkward side for most players. It looks like the Overseer is now being formed up behind the base of the Terran player, so we are going to see a nice scout coming out from the Zerg player. He's going to get a lot of information on what's coming out, because this is a very, very heavy switch into primarily bio play. It looks like he's not actually going for any tanks at all. He's not even really building Hellions anymore. Huh, interesting. There's a couple of Widow Mines laid around the map, just being a little bit on the defensive side. But, you know, this Widow Mine doesn't really need to be here anymore. I would lift it up and probably crawl it over here-ish. However, with an Overseer, which I'm guessing he's just going to get a quick sweep of the base done in. Oh my god, the medevac's moving out. I'm not sure if he actually got information on that medevac moving out. It looks like he's just going to be dropping its stuff and at the, I don't know, 5th base spot for the Zerg player. I don't actually know when a Zerg should take this base, because honestly, I kind of like this base's positioning more. However, it is very spread out from your main. It's fairly close to your 3rd base though, so, you know, really, who the hell knows? I guess it's just up to personal preference. It looks like the Mule's switch is now beginning, which is not the best switch to go into when you're fighting up against a Barracks player. However, it's a reasonable switch when your opponent has a giant air harassment force with only Marines, with only 1 Marine, sorry. And we do have the Marauders now getting absolutely slaughtered. Not much damage was actually done by this group of units, and it looks like the Queen is going to be fighting off the Hellbat on its own. I'm kind of surprised that the Hellbat didn't just turn around and roast as many drones as it could, because there's no way you're going to 1v1 a Queen with the Hellbat. There's no way. But it looks like the drop up here does get cleaned up, and the medevac has its boosters activated, but the boosters run out. No, the medevac pilot gets taken out. Poor medevac pilot did not quite have enough in the emergency thrusters tank to get her all the way home. A little bit on the sad side. It looks like we have the Marauder force now moving out. This is only 5 Marauders. This is not at all a dangerous amount of Marauders. I don't know why he's sending out so few Marauders. He might just be sacrificing them to the great Mutalist gods so that he can repopulate with primarily Marines, because that looks to be what he is doing at this point. It looks like the wraparound from the Zerglings and the Mutalists is going to win that fight for him. However, the Queen did get taken out, which is a little bit on the annoying side. However, you know, he has a Queen literally right in his army, so that should be a pretty easy transition down. It looks like we have +2 ground armor and +2 ground weapons coming out, and I love how it shifts your position to where the building is. That's actually kind of fun. See, that's where the Banelings are building. The Queen is building down here, and it just didn't shift me because I was too close. The Roach Warren upgrade is going there. What? I just clicked on the infestation pit and it put me here. Where's the infestation pit? That is not where, there's the infestation pit. This is not at all where the infestation pit is. You are completely wrong, game. Well, it looks like he took out the destructible rocks. I'm not actually sure. I don't think you can pass over this bit of terrain, but I've never really tested it. I'm pretty sure that once you knock down those rocks, it basically creates a solid wall that nobody can pass through. It looks like we have to move out from the primary army, and this is a bit of a conga line of Marines, and it looks like the Banelings are rolling into everything. Reasonable splitting from the Terran player. Let's see if it's going to be enough. Probably not. He's going to take out quite a few Mutalists, so the splitting did do its job pretty okay. Plus the drop at the 3rd base is going to be extremely annoying to hold off, because it's basically all Marines, and it looks like the 3rd base might actually get sniped. Oh, the Marines doing as much damage as they can to the space, and it does go down. The Marines are going to get cleaned up along with the medevac. However, that is a kind of a big hit to take as a Zerg player in this position. He should really be expanding to both this base and this base up here at this point, or maybe even this base. Or this base, because there's a lot of very viable expansions on this map. It is literally just up to personal preference. Snow is, I think, taking a bit of a lead at this point. We have the upgrade lead going to our Terran player, but he's just been throwing away so many armies to the Zerg player at this point that, you know, it's a bit on the awkward side. And I just said awkward again. I don't know why I say awkward so much. It's such a fun word to say. I think I'll need to start saying shenanigans as well in my commentaries, because let's be honest, shenanigans is like one of the best words of all time, and I kind of coughed there a little bit, but it's all good. Looks like the Behemoth reactor is now being built up for the fusion core, as we might see battlecruisers coming out in the near future. We do have the 2 starports coming down. Oh no, these are 2 command centers. Where are the 2 starports? It looks like we have a bit of an attack by the Zerg player as he moves in with these Mutalists, and it looks like the bunker is going to be taken out. The splash damage, of course, killing enough of the SCVs to allow him to finish it off. And that was actually a very, very effective attack by these Mutalists. And honestly, not sure how Fencar is going to hold this off, because he really did not have a whole ton of Marines currently out on the field. It looks like a nuke is going down onto the 4th base, but it is not going to be enough to one-shot this base. It's just going to be enough to, you know, kill the drones. And it looks like Fencar is going to be losing almost all of his resource production at this point. The Marines are going to be loading up into bunkers, so it's very possible that he can actually kill off these Mutalisks before they manage to kill off those bunkers. However, the harassment force is moving into the main base. It's skipping completely over the fusion core. It's just going to be going for the giant, meaty pile of SCVs that are mining one mineral patch. Oh no, the SCVs. Let's just look at the workers killed count. Oh, 57 workers killed for our Zerg player. That's so many workers killed. Oh, so many SCVs are dead. This is kind of on the scary side. And oh my god, he just killed off that giant pile of workers. 71 workers killed now for Snow. Snow is doing absolutely destructive damage to the Terran player. It's going to be very, very hard to crawl back into this game. It looks like it's a giant pile of mules up here, and oh god, the mules. I feel so bad for them. The mules. So many mules going down. Oh my god, so many mules getting dropped again. How much energy do you have, Fencar? You're supposed to spend that continuously. Come on, man. Alright, well, it looks like he's going to leave 2 mules alive to do their work. However, the Zerg player is building up such a crazy bank over this Terran player. And the Terran player was doing okay with this harassment, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, even the nuke, it didn't do a whole ton of damage to this expansion. I wouldn't be surprised to see another giant flock of Mutalisks starting to come up, as these Mutalisks do kind of camp up here in the top right-hand corner of the map. And honestly, Snow is absolutely taking the game at this point. I'm not sure how well this is going to work out. He should just take on these Vikings and kill the 2 Vikings so that, they stop being annoying little bastards. However, it looks like the Marines are just going to be sitting there at this point. The Vikings are smart enough to not go and fly over to the giant Mutalisk flock, because that would, of course, be classified as a poor decision. I'm kind of surprised to not see more Mutalisks in the production cycle, just because he has so many resources. Or even going for maybe Broodlords. Broodlords are a very good unit. It looks like actually he might be going for Broodlords at this point, because he does have Hive on the way, along with Pathogen Glands. I thought that was Ventral Sacs to allow Overlords to carry, and I got very excited there for a second, and I was like, actually, no, it's not. It's not. It's just Pathogen Glands. I'm actually not sure if this was made before or after the changes to the Zerg Infestors that made them a little bit less on the dangerous side. However, we have a bit of a surround coming out from this massive group of Zerglings. However, this Bioforce is pretty much just huge and massive. We have 9 Banelings now coming out, and these 9 Banelings are going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. They are about to hatch. He should probably send in the Zerglings right now to attack, and then just, oh god, the Zerglings are getting baited so hard. However, all of these Marines have basically stemmed themselves to death, and these medevacs are going to take quite a while to actually manage to heal them all up. It looks like we do have the wraparound from the Zerglings along with the Banelings coming in, and oh my god. Oh my god, there goes every unit for the Terran player. This is definitely not a position you want to be in as a Terran player, with a giant Mutalisk flock about to bear down on your 5th base, a Zergling flock bearing down on your 4th base, and absolutely no units to defend it with. This is definitely not a prime source for Fencar, or a prime location for Fencar to be in at this point in the game. We have the Mutalisks now swooping in there. I'm going to be sniping off quite a few mules, which are, of course, the high-value target at this expansion. How many workers has he killed now? He's nearing 100. Snow is basically the king of harassment. He does hit 100, and he's now over 100. It looks like my phone is ringing, but it's over in the other corner of the room, so I'm not even going to bother to go silence it. I'm just going to continue commentating, and hopefully it'll stop going off eventually. At least it's not a very annoying phone ring. It's just the marimba tone on the iPhone. I think that's marimbas, right? I don't know. I don't even know who's calling me, really. I guess I'll need to go figure that out later. We do have the drones moving out to the 5th base of the Zerg player, and of course, it wouldn't be a commentary of mine without a phone going off. Let's be honest, not everybody can be that professional. It looks like, how is this Ghost actually managing to get nukes off? And I love the new nuke animations. Maybe it's just that I haven't really seen a nuke, but I don't think they used to have like the crater and the heat waves rolling off of it, because that's a very cool type of thing to have. It's a very interesting. We have 10 Ultralisks on the way, which is an army. Definitely is an army. However, Fencar would appear to be going primarily for air at this point. Now, of course, he's also building air defenses, which is not good versus Ultralisks, because Ultralisks are actually not air units, and they don't give a crap about air defense. They will just kill you until you die. And that's kind of how they roll, and that's, you know, they're fun little waddly beasts that will kill you until you die. An interesting way to word it by me, but I think I'll go with it. It looks like we have +3/+3 on the way, along with chitinous planing. So those Ultralisks are going to be 5/3 Beasts of Destruction. I think actually becomes their title once they get their 5/3 upgrades, because let's be honest, Ultralisks with 5/3 upgrades are ridiculous. We see 3/3 Marines, they're going to be dealing 4 damage a shot to them, and Ultralisks have, what, 500 health? It's a little bit on the scary side. So we do have the Terran army moving in, but the Ultralisks, oh god, the Ultralisks, everything's trying to run away from them, but they do so much damage. Everything's lifting up. It looks like we are going to have the Medivacs running away. Did all the Mutalisks get taken out? I think all the Mutalisks got taken out. Huh. All the Mutalisks died. So there is actually going to be no Mutalisks to snipe off the Medivacs, although that would have been pretty sweet if Mutalisks had just swooped in and absolutely destroyed it. We do have the upgrade to the Swarm Host coming out right now, so we might see a little bit of Swarm Host play coming out from our Green Zerg player, which is going to be cool. I love the Swarm Host. It's a very interesting, kind of unique unit. I know everyone bitches about it spawning free units, but honestly, Locusts, they're not that good. And Swarm Hosts are pretty fucking expensive. They're not free units. If we look at the Swarm Host, it costs 200, 100 to build with 3 supply. So basically, if you get 1 round of Locusts out, which is, what, 6 Locusts? 4 Locusts? You get a Locust for 50, 25 apiece. If you get 2 rounds, then all of your Locusts cost 25, like 14. That math is okay enough where I'm just going to go with it. If you get a 3rd round of Locusts out, then they're like 12 something a piece. So basically, the faster you snipe the hosts, the less cost efficient they actually are. It looks like the Ultralisks are getting baited into the Marine Force, which is not where they want to be. So let's see, is this when, oh yep, Fungal Growth is definitely a projectile at this point. So I don't know why you went so heavy into the Infestors, because Fungal Growth kind of sucks now. The point of Fungal Growth was to stop this kind of splitting antics, but it's just too easy to split, and I love the new Infested Swarm Egg graphic. So basically, the only reason to have Infestors around is for these infested Swarm Eggs. And this is a fairly fast Orbital Command. Did they increase the speed on these things? I think they did. Orbital Commands definitely used to be a crap ton slower. It looks like we are going to have the Infestor Force moving up to the 4th base, and, you know, making it lift up and run the hell away. The Ultralisks are, of course, there's only 3 of them left, so they're running into the main base. However, we do have Broodlords on their way from our Green Zerg player, and that's basically going to be the scary end of this game, because Fencar is just, he is out of gas. There's no gas left in him, and I doubt he'll actually be able to, you know, get a big enough army out where he can win this. Snow's a little bit on the low side of gas, but, you know, he has better gas income, or at least better potential gas income. He could probably put some harvesters on that gas. He does have harvesters on those gases. He has harvesters on those gases. He has harvesters on these gases. These gases are dead. So, you know, he should probably drop another base and get another couple harvesters on gas. However, his income, as far as gas goes, is reasonably okay. It's 700 versus the 0 of his opponent, which is definitely not a large amount of gas income. He is finally getting the first 2 refineries up that, you know, he can actually work with. This refinery is probably about to burn down, unless he sends a mule over, which I kind of doubt he's going to do. So he is going to just sacrifice the refinery and hopefully, you know, build a new one, because he very much needs the gas. Now, of course, we do have 96 Zerglings on the way, and those 96 Zerglings are going to be able to quite easily defend from this army. It looks like a reasonable Fungal Growth snag right there, snagging quite a few units, and another one snagging quite a few more units, so you're going to see plenty of Fungal Growths going down in this main army. He definitely needs more of those Zerglings. Where are those Zerglings? There are those Zerglings. You could probably send those in to attack. Those Zerglings would do quite a bit of damage to this Terran force. And Fencar at this point is just losing his mind. Oh god. And it looks like we do have a nuclear attack coming down onto the 4th base. Snow, of course, I think he sees it. Yeah, no, he sees it. And he's going to Fungal Growth and kill the ghost. Oh! I think I heard the nuke starting to come down from the atmosphere to absolutely wreak havoc on his army, because that probably would have killed quite a few of his infestors, which would have been bad. You typically don't want to lose infestors at this stage in the game. We do have 2 Vikings on the way, which of course is reasonable, because there's absolutely no anti-air currently out on the map. There's 1 Corruptor, so it'll be 1 Corruptor versus 2 Vikings. which isn't the best plan. However, these Broodlords should actually be able to wreak havoc through most of the army and most of the bases before they actually die to Vikings, because Broodlords have quite a bit of health, and it's very possible that the Infestors will actually be able to snipe off the Broodlords. We do have the Zerglings moving up to defend the 5th base, as it is getting sniped off by this Terran Force, and it looks like it is going to die before he manages to kill off the Terran Force, but honestly, that's not that big of an issue for the Zerg player at this point. I mean, Fencar should be very much focusing on keeping all of his units alive and then going for a 200-200 push and just praying to God that he wins. Because there is no way he's going to catch up on economy again at all. There's absolutely no freaking way. In production, we do have 6 more Corruptors on the way. I would be surprised to see him even try to morph those into Broodlords. He should just keep 7 Corruptors as his force of killing anti-air, and that will work out quite well because he'll basically have the advantage on most armies of Vikings, especially with the Infestor backup. It would appear that as I get further and further into my commentaries, I actually forget more and more how to speak. It looks like we do have a ghost. Oh, the nuke! It's going down in the main army, and he's running. He's running. There's the fungal growth. There's the ghost dying. Man, Fencar really, really loves his ghosts. And actually, he hates his ghost. He loves doing nuclear strikes. He very much hates his ghost. He's sending these ghosts into very, very suicidal missions. These ghosts do not want to be where they are going, and they have to go because Fencar has these crazy psionic chips in all of their brains, where wherever he clicks on this map thingy and his overhead tactical display, they just go there like mindless drones. It looks like we have some beautiful EMPs going down on the Infestors. There's basically no energy here. There's enough for a couple fungals out of that guy, enough for a fungal out of that guy. However, it's not going to be enough. We do have the Corruptors doing quite a bit of damage, and I think basically Fencar is just going to roll, or Snow is just going to roll over this army absolutely, completely, and Fencar saying it's hard to make a comeback as T, which I can kind of see where he's coming from. So anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you would like your games commentated, you can send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And if you would like to watch any of the other games I've commentated, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. I kind of started to mumble there at the end, but all that stuff is going to be in the description. So if you actually want to hear what I said, because I didn't have the water for this commentary because I'm stupid and it was 40 minutes long, you can just look at it in the description. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, signing out.